Hey everybody, welcome to the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. Where are we, Erin?
This is a Halloween special edition of the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. We have the five most
How many?
terrifying spots.
How many?
Five. Most terrifying spots along the Wasatch Front. We begin at number 5 with Emo's Grave.
Right here in the Salt Lake City Cemetery.
Ooh. Any decent spooky spot hunter would be remiss if they did not include Emo's Grave. Now, their legend has it, of course, is if you go around Emo's grave 3 times saying, "Come out, Emo. Come out, Emo." And no, kids, this isn't Nemo, it's Emo. Come out, Emo. I don't know why I'm saying it in that tone. It's not like it would help or anything, but come out, Emo. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't actually go around 3 times because my personal feeling is, why push your luck? The one interesting thing about this particular crypt is the door has been found open many, many times without any explanation, to the point where you can see they have taken off every possible way to get in. But even when they do, the bolts still pop out of the steel plating.
All right, before we go any farther with this, that was scary, by the way. And
Yeah, thanks a lot, pal.
hilarious. Are we counting up or down?
We're counting down. You're supposed to build the suspense.
So this is number 4.
All right, number 4.
Wait, if we're going to build the suspense, wouldn't we start with number 5 and work up to number 1?
We did do number 5. 5. Now this is 4. The 4th spookiest spot.
The lime kiln.
No, it's the Erie Line Kiln. No, I did it. The Lime Kiln.
Kiln.
Lime Kiln.
Watch, just watch.
Yeah, Lime Kiln.
I didn't even know this existed. This is a pioneer lime kiln. And this is how they made plaster. Around the corner, what there is a lime quarry. They would harvest that, bring it over, and then go ahead and stack it. Now you see those holes at the bottom? Those are actually where they built the fires. The lime ore was actually brought up on top of this structure and put down into these huge chimneys, stacked with wood, then the lime ore, then again wood, and so on and so forth. And they would basically cook it. Now, once they had this done, this would basically become the things they plastered the inside of their houses with. In some cases, they also used it for mortar, but here it stands, it's a fire chamber. It looks creepier than all get out. And you're not supposed to climb on top of this thing. I just want to tell you that you're not allowed to climb on top of this. So here we go. We're going to go up on top of the structure. No one was around. And this is looking down one of the chimneys. Now, the scary thing about this is vagrants or people passing through, these would burn for days on end to turn it into plaster. And they would gather around the edges to stay warm during the winter. Now, when they did this, some people, well, you know what's produced when you burn fire, succumbed to that and actually rolled into the chimneys. So the guy named Fred is probably on someone's antique wall someplace.
Okay, moving up on our top 5 spookiest spots along the Wasatch Front. Here is 3, which is actually one of my favorites. It is Gil Galls Garden. I want you to picture this. You're a noted stonemason, a leader in the church, and then you become distraught with grief because you've lost your son in the Vietnam War. What do? You create a sculpture garden that moves around at night. Gil Galls Garden, take a look. This was actually built by a masonry artist named Thomas Child. He was a bishop in the LDS ward, and he created this sculpture garden to kind of talk about his beliefs. This one's especially eerie to me because if you see the stepping stones, they actually lead to a tiny entrance in the back where people sometimes say at night they can see creatures coming out. One of the reasons this is interesting to me is, as his son died in the Vietnam War, his sculptures became more and more despairing, and all of the quotes that he had carved in stone became more and more distressing. This is a sphinx with the face of Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith, if you do not know, was the founder of the LDS Church. The interesting thing is the people who come here a lot say that at night you can see the stones rearrange themselves as if the garden is living, as if somehow the soul of Thomas Child entered into his own garden. I have seen things here before that I found exceptionally scary, but fortunately nothing ever moved for me. And when they did, I would just like to believe it's a trick of light. It's beautiful, it's scary, but it is inescapably spooky.
All right, what number is this?
2, honey.
Number two. All right, this is number 2. Scariest places on the face of the earth.
I thought we were going to go spookiest spots along the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, Salt Lake City Crematorium. Used to be in a mausoleum. It's just up the hill here. And if you ever thought to yourself, hey, is Erin crazy? She has a story about it.
This is the Old City Crematorium. Kind of scary looking, extremely cool. Look at that tower. It's notable for many things. It has a genuine stained glass Tiffany window. I believe it's that one right there. But one of the interesting things about this place is how much activity it's had over the years. Because they've seen so many tragedies here and, well, then cremated all the bodies, there's a lot of strange things that happen. For instance, the crypts over there. This is where they find a lot of the doors open and urns either scattered on the ground or perched mysteriously high up in other alcoves. And since the grounds were patrolled religiously by a cantankerous old caretaker named Jacob, who would shoot people with his shotgun full of rock salt, it seems unlikely it was done by people. Now, one of the most notable ghosts from here is an angry woman who they call the Wailing Widow. I know, it's kind of an old name, but this one's particularly angry, and word is that if she finds you on the grounds, she darts forward and thrusts her face into yours, and as her face explodes, she begins to scream at a pitch so high that it will shatter glass, and people have reported permanent damage, hearing-wise, and anyway. I'm also thinking damage to underwear, but that's just my personal theory. Now, one of the things that's most spooky about this place to me is the big experience I had with some girlfriends here. And obviously we were being stupid and teenagers, and we traveled along and we thought, oh, we're going to go up to the Old City Crematorium and see what happens. Except for something actually did. You see, when we came up here on this beautiful smooth grass, which you can't see because it's night, we started walking along, and all of a sudden 3 holes opened up and all of us fell into them. I twisted my ankle pretty badly. Now, you're going, well, yeah, it's a place where they probably have a lot of bodies and it's just landscaping and who cares? Except for one thing. There were no holes there before we actually tripped and fell into them. And they were all muddy and wet, and it was a bone-dry August day. So that's my personal story. It scared the living crap out of me. We all jumped out of our holes and ran off screeching like barn owls, never to return again to the city crematorium.
Okay, that was pretty good, except for this one is my favorite. That's why it's number 1.
Mm-hmm. Number 1 spookiest spot along the Wasatch Front. The tragic story of Lilly Gray and her satanic tombstone.
What?
Because written upon it is 666, victim of the beast. This is a terrible story. Have a listen.
All right, let's go watch, shall we?
This is the Salt Lake City Cemetery. Absolutely beautiful. And one of the oldest burial sites in the state. But there's one grave that everybody wants to visit. And it's this one. Lilly E. Gray, victim of the beast, 666. Now, this has been quite a conundrum for a long time because people couldn't figure out why anyone would bury somebody with such a dreadful inscription. Now, her husband, Elmer, was said to be a little bit nuts, but he ended up in prison, and when he appealed to the parole board, he had a lot of complaints about his wife being kidnapped by the beast, and no one ever quite understood what that meant. But whatever the cause, when Lilly passed away, he insisted this be part of her inscription against the protests of the rest of the family. So, what really happened to Lilly? Nobody's sure. On the bright side, I barely found it because it's also listed as one of my Pokestops on Pokemon Go. So, thank you, Lilly, and rest in peace. So what have we learned today?
Scary stuff.
Yeah, we had the 5 spookiest spots though, so if you have time this weekend, you can do a little ghost hunting. Also, next week, we're going to be doing the top 5 ghost towns here in Utah. Some of them are unbelievably
Some
freaky.
are really scary.
You may not know about them, but you're going to love them.
All right, so thanks for watching the podcast, the Todd and Erin Daily Stream, and from the Salt Lake City Cemetery.
From the bottom of our hearts, we go, ah!
We'll see you later.